Welcome to the Sociology channel. In this lecture, we are discussing about values. Values from sociological perspective is one of the most important concept because throughout sociology, the one thing which we are trying to understand about individual and the group of people is values. But values is equally important for anthropology, psychology, social psychology, consumer behavior management, cross-culture management. Thus, this makes values a very important object of study. Even starting from biggest stalwarts like from anthropology world like Henry Murray, Kluckhohn, all these people have considered values as an intelligible object of study. So let's proceed with our discussion and study about values. But this is the most important thing which I am telling to you is that this discussion about values is sufficient from examination perspective once you are appearing in civil services exams or net exams or your school grade exams or your university graduate or postgraduate courses exams. But when it comes to sociology, actually understanding and reading about sociology, this is just we are touching the topic of values. So that's the reason I have written it as part 1. So part 1 of all my lectures is basically targeted for examination perspective, from examination view, and part 2 and 3 would be an in-depth discussion from sociology perspective. So let's proceed with our discussion. uh, when you wear a mask, so this is a very recent phenomenon, and still at public places we are required to wear it. So what are the views which we are carrying in our mind when we are wearing it? I do not want to infect other people. I do not want to get infected by other people. So one of these two things could be there. This is a Walkman, and I think most of the youngsters would not have seen it. And this was a uh, pride possession in my time when I used to be in school. So this used to be a very pride possession. So we put a cassette and play the songs. So this is a Walkman from Sony. Akio Morita, the one person who made this Walkman possible and is founder of Sony Group, he says that the objective behind Walkman was not imposing on the outside world, but being in harmony with it. So when you are walking in market area, you are going through metro, going through tram, going through public transport. So you are listening to song and you are harmony with other people, and you are not imposing yourself on them by creating some kind of noise or by disconnecting yourself from that place just to listen to song. Westerners thinking tells us that I can listen to music without being disturbed by other people. So I'm listening, since I'm constantly listening to the musical voice, I'm not able to hear outside noise. So even recently, currently, you will see that they will write on this headphone. This is how much outside noise factor is being cancelled by that particular headphone. So without being disturbed by other people. So there are the two views with which the same product is being used. When you come out from airport, what are the things that you encounter? Say you are a Delhite and this is for the first time you are visiting Mumbai. So the moment you come out from the airport, what are the things that you witness? Most of the time you will notice buildings, cars, taxis, Meru cab, all these things. Something which we do not see we are not able to see is values. Even sociologists, when they are doing empirical research, they find it difficult to provide a proper definition to this term, values, because values are something which are not visible and they are not easily measurable, and from theoretical perspective we are not able to define it properly, that how values are getting developed, getting formed, how values are getting impacted, and we are not able to theorize it in that sense. So I've also, with all discussion, I'm mentioning the citation, I'm referring the source, because these things are coming from some of the stalwarts of anthropology, social psychology, sociology, and you should be knowing their names as well. This is point number one. Point number two is that by going through citation, you should also read the source, read the main source. After listening to the lecture, get motivated, look for the source and read from them. From examination perspective, this is sufficient, which I am discussing here. So values are something which is the second layer of something, like artifacts and products. So when I am doing this, I'm doing namaste, I'm bowing down in front of you. Namaste, sir. Namaste, Guruji. When I'm doing this is something artifacts and products. And now when you will ask me question, hey, why you fold your hands and bow with some kind of reverence, some kind of respect. Now when you have started scratching the surface, that why I am doing this, you are looking at my norms and values, and you are slightly irritating me. Why I am doing this? I have always been doing this. I have seen my elders doing this. I have seen other people doing this. This is coming from one of the most important book and must read for all student of sociology, riding the waves of culture, Fons Trompenaars. So norms, this is how I normally should behave. Values, this is how I aspire or desire to behave. I aspire to be like Bhagat Singh, nation first, my people first. I should serve my people. That is my desire. So that is my values. Giddens says that values are abstract ideals, abstract concept. Since this is abstract, it becomes tough for it to get defined. That is something which we need to understand. Values are central to understanding social behavior. For example, whenever I will see a woman standing in public transport and I am sitting, I leave my chair, I leave my seat. This is my social behavior of leaving seat for a woman. Now, why I am doing this is my values. So my social behavior, why I behave in certain fashion, this is possible to understand by understanding my values. Values are deeply rooted, abstract motivations that guide, justify, and explain attitudes, norms, opinions, and actions. See, attitudes, norms, opinions, actions, behavior, all these words are coming from values. Values are deeply rooted, abstract motivations, and which is impacting all these things. It also means that values are required to be differentiated from attitudes, norms, opinion, action. It needs to be differentiated from that while we are wanting to understand values. Kluckhohn. This is one of the most popular work of Kluckhohn, and he's one of the most influential anthropologists when it comes to value. Value is a conception, explicit or implicit, distinctive of an individual or a group, desirable, which influences the selection from available modes, means, and ends of action. It needs to end in certain action. I want to do good to society. I want to be like Bhagat Singh. Why? Ends of action. I want to put myself as an example in front of my children, in front of my students, in front of my business partners. Ends of action. It's a conception which could be explicit or implicit. Second part, individual or group. And third part, desirable. Fourth part, ends of action. So Kluckhohn gives us the entire definition of value. Brewster Smith expands and basically simplifies the Kluckhohn's definition. Kluckhohn's definition is telling us out, the realm of out, rather than what is or want. Say, for example, um I'm taking a share ride of Uber, and I'm the last passenger to get dropped off. Suddenly, getting down, I saw one purse. I asked the driver. Driver said that it's not his purse. So this purse now is belonging to some other passenger of my shared ride. Now, I may want, because of my immediate need, that let us divide money equally between the Uber driver and myself. But out, I ought to be honest. So I request Uber driver to call the customer care so that the respective person who was driving along with us could be informed regarding his purse. This is how we need to differentiate. Honesty is the best policy. Out. Let us proceed further and see more into the same thing. Schwartz discusses about conceptualizing basic values. Now, the moment Schwartz enter into the picture of discussion of sociology of values, it has been 50 years, more than 50 years actually, since we are developing the theoretical perspectives of values from the sides of anthropology, sociology, social psychology, consumer behavior, management. We are already looking with respect to values. Now Schwartz comes and simplifies things for us. Values are beliefs that are linked inextricably to affect. My belief, and it must affect something. It is value. Just my beliefs is not value. So my beliefs with respect to how to behave with my other community member, my other residents of apartment, and it must give rise to some effect. Let us understand it properly from different perspectives. I am a I am the head of the family, I am the father, I am the husband. Now my family is threatened. My belief is to protect my family. I'm aroused. So my belief is giving some effect, and that's why this is my values. I despair when I cannot help my family. In this image, Sunny Deol is planning to bring back mother of his son, but he's still at planning stage. He's feeling despair because he is hearing several news about the mother of his son. This is values. Family values from Indian perspective are one of the topmost values. It gives happiness when we are able to spend time with our family, because family values in India is much superior in comparison to the career. From our work perspective, work is secondary to us, family is primary to us. Values refer to desirable goals that motivate action. Desirable goals is independence. Now it is motivating action of ahimsa, of democracy from Mahatma Gandhi, and it is motivating certain action of Bhagat Singh. So it is referring to desirable goals. Independence is the desirable goals. And what are the values? Values. Now that is values which is bringing it. Practicing ahimsa. This is I'm doing something. Promoting social order, seeking justice, practicing brotherhood. Why Mahatma Gandhi is doing all this? To get independence. Thus, independence is one of the values. Swaraj, Swadhinta. Values transcend specific actions and situations. So, if there is a value, it will be impacting several things. Say, for example, Satyam Vad Dharmam Char. Speak the truth, follow the path of righteousness is an Indian value written in Vedas. So, when I am at work, I will follow Satyam Vad Dharmam Char. When I am in sports, I am still practicing Satyam Vad Dharmam Char. When I am in with my family, I am enjoying, I am shopping, I am living my family life. Even then, I am practicing my values. Satyam Vad Dharmam Char. These are the inherent Indian values coming from Vedas. So, values transcend specific actions and situations. So, this uh, Satyam Vad Dharmam Char is applicable throughout each sphere of my life. Whether I am working, whether I am playing, whether I am with my family, whether I am teaching, Satyam Vad Dharmam Char is my values. Values serve as standards or criteria. So this is Gandhiji's talisman. It speaks of the main thing, Swaraj, for that poor person. Now it is a criteria. through which we are driving government policies, through which we are following the social objective of our nation. So this is values. Values are ordered by importance relative to one another. Janani janma bhumischa swargadapi gariyasi. Mother and motherland, nation first, are greater than the heaven. Heaven is also coming as a metaphor here. So we are very clear about it. What to choose, career or family? We are able to bring it to some relative position to one another. First mother, then motherland, and then anything else. Mother and motherland is superior to the most comfortable life, heaven. The relative importance of multiple values guides action. Diwali is a very important festival for Indians. It is a proper Indian culture festival. Now, Diwali got associated with crackers. Crackers brings pollution. It brings pollution to such a high level that in Delhi people fall sick and they are not able to breathe. They are not. They become asthmatic. Even normal people becomes asthmatic. Now, importance of multiple values guides action. Social welfare, every person's good, one value. Other value of celebrating Diwali. So Diwali actually means, now we have in Delhi we have defined it that Diwali actually means meeting each other, sharing gifts with each other, sharing sweets, candles, uh, visiting place of worship maybe, praying to gods maybe. Although we'll further see when we'll be studying sociology of religion, we'll see that how the idea of God or the idea of religion gets attached to the idea of festival, how they start going along with each other. Say no to crackers, the campaign from Delhi government. Now we have said no to crackers, but we are celebrating Diwali with diya and all. Diya, sweets, meeting people, wishing them Diwali, feeling happy about everything, what is happening in our life. So, relative importance of multiple values. Now, this is one of the quite important thing from value orientation perspective. When I was sharing social psychology, anthropology, cross-culture management, consumer behavior, selling, marketing, all these fields are studying about values. So they are studying about value orientation also. One of the most popular research is Fons Trompenaars, and I shared three important points from regarding values from that book. Now, Kluckhohn, uh, FR Kluckhohn is different from Clyde Kluckhohn. So they're two different people. On what aspect of time should be primarily focus? Past, present, or future? Now think of yourself. Think of yourself, or think of as a whole India. On what aspect of time should be primarily focus? Past, present, or future? Where we are generally focusing in? Government would come and will say us that 20-year plan. 20 years from now, our children would be having a beautiful life in India. That is future. But generally we are living in past. Just now I shared a example of Diwali. Now this Diwali is coming from several past events. Lord Rama coming back to India, point number one. Maharaja Vikramaditya asking us to celebrate Diwali, point number two. So there are several other uh, stories, mythology, and other important incidents which is attached to Diwali. These all are past events, and this is impacting us as of now. So what aspect of time we are primarily focusing? Past. As a government, they are primarily focusing future. What is the relationship between humanity and its natural environment? Mastery, submission, harmony. So, so again, think it from Indian perspective, that how we are living with our natural environment. We are nature worshipper. We worship trees, we worship sun, moon, rivers, mountains, stones. We are nature worshipper. We are in harmony with nature. We are animal worshipper. So we are in harmony with nature. Broadly speaking, I do not mean that everyone should agree with me that India is a nature worshipper, and that's why we are in harmony with nature. We are neither mastering it, we are not submissive to the nature. So I do not mean that you should agree with me. How should individual relate with others? Hierarchically, as equals, or according to their individual merit? One of the most signifying aspect of Indian society still today, although it has been uh, basically removed from our society by bringing in equality, but caste is still practiced, and the idea of caste gives us the idea of hierarchy, something connected to biology. We are believing in hierarchical structure. Now again, you do not need to agree with me that do not need to think in, well, I am not a casteist person, I do not behave like that. When it comes to values, we studied that individual and society, group perspective, individual perspective. What is the prime motivation for behavior? To express oneself, to grow, or to achieve. Now take your example. You are preparing for civil services examinations. What is the objective? Your objective could be, even if I am not able to clear this examination, in 2 years, I will be a totally different person. I would have studied this subject. I would have studied this discipline. I would have mastered it, and I will come out as a great professional. So achievement is one thing. To grow is also one of the biggest motivator. Have you heard about the myth of Sisyphus? Well, in my next lectures, I'll discuss about that. Albert Camus, the myth of Sisyphus. Being, just by being there, grow. I will grow, achieve. I will become a civil IAS, and I will serve society. I will become an IPS. I am a lawyer. I will become IPS. I will bring back the law book based policing instead of the wrong policing which is happening as of now in my society. Achievement. What is the nature of human nature? Good, bad, or a mixture? Like you must have seen the yin yang, good along with evil, some part good, some part evil, or the good. We need to see it. A society needs to solve this problem, the five basic types of problem. Milton Rokeach is also one of the most popular person who has contributed into values, be it from sociological perspective or from other consumer behavior and marketing perspective. His work is important from both of the areas. The most important type of normative elements are norms and values. Again, he is stressing the same thing, the criteria of desirability. Like we see in, like we know one more Vedic script, Vedic sloka, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara. Generally, people transliterate it, since Sanskrit is a very different language in comparison to English or Hindi. We are required to transliterate. We cannot actually translate directly. So people transliterate to that Guru is Brahma, the teacher is Brahma, the teacher is Vishnu, whereas the actual transliteration would be Guru ought to be like Brahma, ought. The criteria of desirability, because they are telling us the values a teacher is supposed to carry and propound, ought to be. It's a talking about values, it's not talking about is. Desirability is there, so out. Now we will read this paragraph and we'll discuss it by breaking it. Rokeach says that values, on the other hand, have to do with the modes of conduct and in states of existence. To say that a person has a value is to say that he has an enduring belief that a specific mode of conduct or in state of existence is personally and socially preferable to alternative modes of conduct or in states of existence. So, truth, satyameva jayate, truth only prevails. Truth is actually preferable to alternative modes of conduct. I may lie, I may share partial truth, I may obfuscate the truth, I may cloud the truth, but truth is preferable. Once a value is internalized, it becomes consciously or unconsciously a standard or criterion for guiding action, for developing and maintaining attitudes toward relevant objects and situations, for justifying one's own and others' actions and attitudes, for morally judging self and others, and for comparing self with others. You have asked me this question. I will respond honestly. I cannot lie because I only speak truth. I am asserting a certain sets of behavior. I am choosing. I am also comparing self with others. I would not lie. Finally, a value is a standard employed to influence the values, attitudes, and actions of at least some others. Our children's, for example. Like I had shared that my action is supposed to influence my children, my students of my classroom. Now you see, there are in total four things which this definition is talking about. First, it is defining value. Second, it is talking about internalization. Once a value is internalized, this is second thing which it is doing. Then role of value in behavior and judgment. How I am judging others. You lie. It's not good. It's not good to that one should lie. Lying is a bad thing. Influence others. Four things they are discussing here. So first they are giving, Rokeach is giving us the definition of values. So while we are defining value, we also need to contrast it with attitudes and other concepts like norms, social behavior. Now, when we are talking about internalization of values, we are talking about how I am internalizing it, how it is becoming a criterion for my social action or my guiding principle, how I am developing and maintaining attitude towards a particular object or situation. This is what values is doing to me. Behavior, roles of values in behavior and in judging others. I am justifying my own action and others' action. I am justifying my own attitudes and other attitudes. I am judging myself and others based on that value, honesty. He is not being honest. He is not showing integrity. So, and I am showing some value so that it influences others also. I am speaking truth. Why? To influence you. That is. And also to give an example like children, like Rokeach shared. Now, Rokeach Values Survey is a very popular survey, and several researches have been carried out by using these sets of values, terminal values and instrumental values. By name itself, this clarifies the meaning. Terminal, the end state, the exiting point of something, the last stage of something. So that is terminal. Instrumental, when something gets instrumental, it helps into reaching to terminal. So as a student of sociology, as of now, you do not need to memorize each of these. You just need to appreciate that how we are discussing values, how we are identifying values. With a long research of 50, 60, 70 years, we have come to this point. That is necessary to understand. So let us read out this entire 18 terminal values and 18 instrumental values. True friendship, mature love, self-respect, happiness. Kindly go through this entire list. These are terminal values. Happiness, like in the Constitution of America states that in the pursuit of happiness, equality, like Constitution of India speaks about equality. These are terminal values. We want to reach here. And how we will reach at this terminal values? These are 18 sets of terminal values. By passing through these instrumental values. Equality. Equality comes through, in Indian circumstances, it will come through independence, broad-mindedness, helpfulness, forgiveness, brotherhood is something we are aspiring to reach, and how it will come. So, terminal values and instrumental values. So, starting from an abstract concept, how we are slowly graduating towards a situation whereby we could define value and we could conduct empirical research, because that is what sociology is different from common sense or common knowledge. We are science oriented. We primarily believes on data, empirical research, proper scientific evidence. Thank you very much for joining me in this lecture of values. From examination perspective, this suffices the discussion, but as a student of sociology, we will continue with our discussion very soon. Thank you very much and join me in my next lecture.